The CNN sources are now saying, multiple sources, that Michael Jackson is in a coma at UCLA Medical Center, suffered from cardiac arrest, and is now in a coma at the UCLA Medical Center. Elizabeth, tell our viewers who may not be familiar with a coma what precisely this means.
A coma means that he has very, very minimal brain function at this time. And what happens is that in cardiac arrest, if someone does not get help within minutes, like I mean really ideally within 3 to 5 minutes, they will, and they often do, the sort of the norm, if you will, is to lose brain function. So it would not be surprising if Mr. Jackson did not get help within minutes for him to actually suffer brain damage such as a coma.
Because, as we're saying, sources familiar with his condition, Elizabeth, are telling us he is in a coma right now. I assume that if someone suffers from cardiac arrest and doesn't get the proper treatment immediately, literally within a matter of a few minutes, that next stage presumably would be a coma.
That often is what happened. That's right, Wolf, because the heart stops functioning, so it's not getting oxygen to the brain. It's not getting the oxygen that the brain needs. And I want to say something also, because I've sort of heard people around me saying, wow, only 50 years old, how young. And I was just talking to a cardiologist who said, actually, this is not that young. For men, this is not that young. It is not uncommon for this to happen, and particularly with African American men. Unfortunately, rates of cardiac diseases like this are more common for African American men this age than for white men or for women.
We see a crowd that's developing outside UCLA Medical Center right now as word spreads around Los Angeles that Michael Jackson is in the hospital suffering from cardiac arrest, and we have now been told by sources familiar with his condition that he is in a coma right now. Elizabeth, people come out of comas though, right?
You know, they do sometimes, but I would say, Wolf, that it is pretty unusual for someone to come out of a coma. Also considering, you have to consider what the coma is caused by. A coma that is caused by cardiac arrest means that it was caused by a loss of heart function. That is very serious. It means that the heart had stopped working for a period of time. We don't know how long. And of course, that's the key, is how long had he suffered a loss of heart function.
Stand by, Elizabeth. I'm going to get back to you, but I want to bring back Jim Moret right now. He's been covering Michael Jackson for many years, going back to his days as an anchor here on CNN. This latest information that we're getting, Jim, that he's in a coma right now does not bode well.
It doesn't. It's extremely disheartening, and we're watching the situation devolve in front of our eyes, and it's this latest news is frankly very troubling and doesn't bode well.
The whole notion of Michael Jackson in a coma, especially for all of us who literally grew up watching him perform, and he started performing when he was only 5 years old, and when he was 10, he was a star, part of the Jackson 5. He's been part of all of our lives for so many years. It's just so hard to even think of this possibility that Michael Jackson suffered cardiac arrest and is now in a coma, literally struggling for his life.
Well, Wolf, you look at the aerials that you're showing on air, and you see the number of people that have already gathered outside the hospital. If that isn't testament to the star power of Michael Jackson, I don't know what is. I can tell you that at the trial up in Santa Barbara County, there was a crowd every single day for the 4 months of that trial, and I'm looking at your aerials right now, and you can see the throng of people, the crowd of people gathered outside just waiting for word to hear about Michael Jackson's condition. And to hear that he's in a coma is very disconcerting at this point.
And you were telling us just a little while ago, Jim, that his 3 kids, aged 6, 11, and 12, are still in his custody, and presumably were with him in Los Angeles.
I have not heard anything otherwise. It was always what we'd heard. It was always his intention to keep and retain custody of those children. They were obviously very important to him, and he was legally their father, their guardian, and they were with him. I don't know if they were with him in Los Angeles today, but presumably they were.
And we're just getting this in right now, and it's very, very sad news. Jim Moret, and to all of our viewers, both the Los Angeles Times and CBS News are both now reporting that Michael Jackson has died. Now, CNN has not confirmed that, but the LA Times and CBS News are reporting that Michael Jackson, 50 years old, the king of pop, has died. A very, very sad moment, Jim Moret. Shocking to think about it. It was only, an hour or so ago that we began to hear word that he was rushed to a hospital, and now these two news organizations reporting that he's dead.
You know, I was thinking back to what Jeff Toobin said 30, 40 minutes ago, that this was extremely sad news, not altogether shocking, given the way Michael Jackson looked in the last few years. But obviously, it's a stunning development on this day where we've already suffered the loss of Farrah Fawcett. That was expected because she's been ill for some time. This clearly is really out of the blue. Even though Jackson looked frail to many people, he was embarking and planning to embark on this worldwide comeback tour. It was always his dream to come back bigger than he was. Whether that was possible or not, we'll unfortunately never know. But Michael Jackson is an enormous international superstar, and to think that he's gone now is stunning. It's
a shocking development. We woke up this morning knowing that Farrah Fawcett, as you point out, was in critical condition, but now to hear that Michael Jackson, at least according to the Los Angeles Times and CBS News, has died is truly a shocking moment for all of us who have watched this man perform for so many years and watched his performance going back to the Jackson 5 when he was a little boy. Once again, the Los Angeles Times now reporting that Michael Jackson has died at UCLA Medical Center, where he was rushed just a little while ago, apparently suffering from cardiac arrest. Paramedics got to the hospital, brought him there, and tried to deal with it, but apparently not enough for Michael Jackson. The Los Angeles Times saying he has now died. We have not confirmed that independently here at CNN, but we're working to confirm that. But the Los Angeles Times saying he has died. Cara Finstrom is joining us. She's outside the Michael Jackson home in Los Angeles. You've heard this very, very sad news, Cara.
Yeah, you know, folks are starting to gather here, Wolf, outside of his home. There's a small crowd just down the street. I don't know if Gabe can get his camera focused over there, but the police have actually blocked off both sides of the street so that the tour buses can no longer go in front. People starting to come up here trying to get whatever information they can, Wolf. This is the home that he was renting as he was preparing for this big set of concert tours that he has coming up. He was staying here. We understand paramedics came here this morning, rushed him to the hospital, and that's about a 6-minute drive from here. Now, we also were told by some of the tour bus drivers who come by here all the time that they saw all the commotion this morning. They say normally outside of his home there are about a half dozen vans of his diehard fans, people who actually live out here in their vans because they want to be close to this pop superstar. All of those people have moved over to the hospital, Wolf, we understand, because they want to be closer to where he is. They want to get the latest information from there. But here where we are, the crowds people have started walking up the streets. Again, this area blocked off somewhat by police, but they've started walking up, trying to get whatever information they can.
Let me just recap for our viewers who may just be joining us at the bottom of the hour right now here in the United States and around the world. You're in the Situation Room. We're following a very, very sad story. CNN has confirmed from sources familiar with the situation that Michael Jackson is in a coma, but the Los Angeles Times is now reporting that he has died. CNN has not confirmed that he's died, but the LA Times says he has died.